Good.
Some of my favorite behind the scenes photos from horror movie sets involve seeing the terrorizers of that film either goofing around with the cast or doing the most mundane things while in the full scary getup. For Alien 3, I laugh every time this image pops up in my feed of some like a guy in a xenomorph costume catching some quick piece while sitting on a wooden box, or there's It Chapter 2, seeing Bill Hader cause Pennywise to have uncontrollable laughter. Just images you will never see in a movie like this. So I'm curious if you clocked or either experienced any moments like this. Do you hang out at all with the actors who play the Terrorizers?
Yeah, I did hang out with them behind the scenes, and weirdly enough, for this set and then this particular genre, it's really hard to like have a conversation or eat food or have lunch with the mask on. So I never really saw them with the masks on outside of set.
Mm.
So yeah, we were all like hanging out in each other's trailers and having lunch together though.
Did y'all eat any messy burgers together?
Thankfully, no. Thankfully, no. One thing about that scene was that we didn't have like a spit bucket or anything. I had to actually like swallow it on camera.
Mm.
And so I probably ate maybe 30 burgers over the course of that time.
Jeez.
When I say burgers, I mean half of the burger, but
Right.
oh, it was I was ready to puke by the end of that scene for sure.
Yeah, I remember reading some story about an actor on the movie Popeye with Robin Williams. An actor had to eat like 30 or something burgers like that, and I think he threw up after. So sorry you experienced that, but it was a cool scene. So where does that particular scene rank among, with the oozing ketchup, rank
Mm.
among the coolest scenes you've ever done in your cinematic work?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know if I can rank them really.
Because it
I
looked
mean,
really cool with the ketchup coming out of the side because it was
yeah.
almost vampiric.
Yeah. I mean the like the ketchup and the blood and not understanding which one is which and it
Right.
kind of red herring was cool. And also like the just the scene work of like, making Maya and Ryan feel like a lived-in real couple and
Hmm.
have this like cute flirtatious moment and annoying each other and teasing each other was really fun and lovely. And that's also kind of the moment when the movie shifts from like plausible deniability of like, oh, tonight maybe there's just some spooky kids being around, and then it shifts to like immediately like, oh no, something is going down here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many incredible set pieces and incredible scenes I got to be a part of just for the chapter one movie alone, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Without speaking directly about what happens in the scene, but just what you're talking about of like creating a relationship that feels very lived in, just like you said. This movie has, even though, a lot of horror movies end in a very tragic or very horrifying way, this movie has a very romantic moment that happens, and it caught me off guard a little bit. So how did you react to seeing that, oh, this relationship shows just how authentic it is all the way to the very end?
I think, it's fascinating because when I've been in a couple audiences now seeing the film, and that during this moment, the first time I saw it in a theater, the response that I was looking around and people were like crying and it was very emotional. And the second time I saw it, people were like there was maybe half the audience was like had a chuckle. They had like a little laugh because it was it's a definitely an unexpected thing to say under those circumstances, but weirdly enough, that line in that moment is what sold me on the script.
Mm,
Because that's to me that line and that moment is what anchors this character for me.
yeah,
It's what makes this movie not simply like a home invasion. It's about something else for me. It's
yeah,
a way to like just focus on, be like, I'm going to choose to focus on the good in my life, and you know, and that's it, and that's all that matters to me. Like I think that was really cool, and that kind of let me anchor the whole character. Really, I like worked backwards from that line
mm,
for the rest of the character, um, and like the whole time that I was filming, I was thinking nothing in the world matters to me more than Maya, right? And not only that, but I don't think I'm in a horror film. Ryan doesn't think he's in a horror film. He thinks he's Jack in the Titanic, and he thinks he's saving
Right.
Rose. That's what that is to him. And the more I can communicate that, the better the film will be, and the more terrifying the film will be.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. I appreciate you sharing that with me. Do you think this film is going to cause you to become a more paranoid or a hyper aware person? Are you going to be picking up on signs and know when to hit the eject button on whatever you happen to be doing?
Um, Weirdly enough, no. um I had some very awful experiences as a younger actor. Um, that induced a kind of paranoia in me for sure for a long time that I'll probably talk about years from now. Um, but I'm at a place now where I'm good on that. I'm like
Good.
I want to be trusting and I want to be open, and horror is like horrifying for a reason, but I do find people in the real world are can be trusted a lot more
Good to hear.
usually.
This film has a lot of like classic horror movie moments, you know, running from people in the woods, playing cool music to enhance the creepiness of the film. Like, I don't know if you'll ever be able to listen to Sticks the same way, but is there a signature horror moment that you have yet to experience, whether you're the terrorizer or the person being terrorized, that you haven't experienced yet that you would like to experience in a cinematic way?
Oh yeah. My favorite micro genre of the horror genre is like cosmic horror, like
Mm.
eldritch horror, for lack of a better word. Particularly like the last sequence of like Annihilation, I
Yeah.
was completely blown away by. Or oh my gosh, even Ex Machina. Um, I would love to be a part of something like that. That is really, really out there and very abstract. I think those moments are really, really fascinating to me.
Yeah. So you just want to be in an Alex Garland movie at this point.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. I'm a big Alex Garland fan for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But Rennie Harlan's awesome too. He has such a storied career, like with Nightmare on Elm Street, Die Hard, and now this. Is there another series you'd like to see get the Rennie touch? Because there's so many moments in here that like his low angles when he's showing like the guy with like the scarecrow mask and certain moments that kind of call back to like Friday the 13th Part Two, The Shining, or Doctor Sleep. Like, is there any other series that you'd like to see him tackle?
And that's such a good question. I know it was just recently done, but I feel like he could really kill a like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Oh yeah,
situation. You know,
yeah,
I think he'd have a good eye for that for sure.
yeah. He certainly has that vibe here in the very beginning. I know we're just about out of time. You grew up in Dallas, which is my stomping ground. So, what about the Dallas and the North Texas art scene do you think, or even going to Booker T. Washington, like most greatly contributed to who you are as a creative in this industry?
I mean, well, first of all, I wouldn't know anything about acting if it weren't for the industry in Dallas that we have. Like, we have a very thriving theater community, and I learned so much through like Kevin Moriarty at the Dallas Theater Center and teachers like Karen Cogdill at Booker T. Washington, and I went to Catherine Sullivan's Acting for Film, and I learned a lot from her. And I studied with like Catherine Hart, and I got scouted by my first agent at the Dallas Children's Theater, right? So we have like a really robust ecosystem of artists and actors, and not only that, but like going to Booker T, I got to meet so many visual artists as well, and so many musicians and so many dancers. And I was also part of like this like program at Planned Parenthood that was
Mhm.
also arts driven, called Tact. And yeah, I really I owe everything to Dallas and the community there. Like I was really there's just such like a diverse array of people and thought and expression that I don't feel like I've seen matched elsewhere for me personally
Mm.
so far. So being able to grow up in that really allowed me to develop a perspective, you know.